Evan Rook had cleaned starships, factories, and military halls before, but nothing compared to this place. The royal bath chamber of the Zalorian queen was built with dark stone that glowed softly, as if the room breathed with its own life. The air smelled of electric roses, and every sound echoed like a whisper from another world. Even the water in the pool shimmered like liquid silver. Evan should not have been here. Humans were not allowed near the queen. Humans were not allowed near any Zalorian noble. But today, he was ordered to enter her chamber alone. His hands shook as he stepped forward. 2 giant palace guards, each twice his size, closed the metal doors behind him. The sound boomed across the chamber like a warning. Evan swallowed hard. He had heard stories. The queen was powerful, strict, and deadly. If she disliked someone's breathing, that person disappeared from the palace forever. At the center of the chamber, steam curled around the bath pool like moving fog. A tall, elegant silhouette stood with her back turned. Her skin glowed faintly blue under the water, and strands of her silver hair floated around her shoulders like soft light. The alien queen, Sarathis. Evan tried not to stare, but she was impossible to ignore. Even from behind, she radiated strength. The air felt heavier around her, as if her presence alone controlled the gravity. He took a shaky breath and bowed. "Why, Your Majesty? I am here to clean." Her voice floated through the steam, calm and sharp at the same time. "You are the human they sent today." Evan nodded quickly. "Yes, my queen." She did not turn. She didn't even look at him. Instead, she raised one hand slightly, and the steam shifted, revealing more of her back. Strange glowing marks ran across her skin, cracks, burns, lines that looked like lightning scars. Before Evan could understand what he was seeing, she spoke again. "Human," she said. "Come closer." His legs suddenly felt like stone. He forced himself to walk forward step by slow step, stopping at the edge of the bath. The queen did not move. Only the water rippled around her. Then she said the words that froze him completely. "Scrub my back." Evan blinked. He stared. Surely he misheard. Your back, my queen?" Her head tilted slightly, though she still did not turn. "Is that not what I asked?" The guards behind him stiffened. One subtly touched his weapon. Evan felt sweat run down his neck. Humans touching the queen? That was unheard of. Even Zalorian nobles did not touch her without permission. Anyone who tried could be burned, electrocuted, or punished by law. Evan's heart hammered in his chest. "My queen! Forgive me, but I am only a cleaner. And today," she said softly, "you will clean me." Evan's breath caught. This had to be a trap. Maybe a loyalty test. Maybe she wanted to see if a human would dare disobey her. Maybe she wanted to kill him for entertainment. So many rumors existed about her. He never knew what was true. He glanced again at the strange marks on her back. They looked painful, glowing faintly beneath the skin. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. "My queen," he asked carefully, Are you in pain?" For the first time, she turned her head slightly, just enough for Evan to see the corner of her glowing golden eye. That single eye held power that could break armies. It made Evan's knees weak, but inside that eye, there was something else. Something he never expected. Something like exhaustion. She whispered, "Do not make me repeat myself, human." Evan nodded too fast. Yes, my queen, I will do it." He grabbed the soft cleansing sponge from the golden tray beside him. His hand shook violently. He stepped into the warm water carefully, praying he would not die today. The closer he came, the more those glowing cracks on her skin pulsed. He could feel heat coming from them, like a slow burning fire. He raised the sponge toward her back. The guards behind him tightened their grips. One wrong move and he was dead. The queen's voice softened, not kind, but tired. "Begin." Evan touched the sponge to her skin. There was a flash of light, bright, sharp, silent. Evan gasped as something surged through him. Not pain. Not shock. Something else. Something alive. The queen shivered slightly, the first sign of weakness he had ever seen. The glowing cracks on her back dimmed, just a little, where his hand touched. Evan froze again. What was happening to her? And why was her powerful alien body reacting to a simple human touch? Evan's hand stopped in midair as the strange light faded around him. His breath shook in his chest. The warm water rippled softly, but the air felt thick, heavy, almost alive. The queen didn't turn. She didn't speak. She simply lifted her chin slightly, as if preparing herself for something she had feared for a long time. Evan swallowed. Was she hurt? Was this dangerous? Would touching her again kill him? He didn't know. But he also knew the guards behind him would end his life instantly if he refused. Slowly, he pressed the sponge against her back again. This time, he did it gently. Carefully. Almost respectfully. And again, the glowing cracks on the queen's skin pulsed. They brightened first like veins of fire, then slowly dimmed under his touch. Evan felt a faint vibration move up through his arm, not painful, not sharp, but strange enough to make his stomach twist. The queen let out a quiet breath. One she had not intended anyone to hear. It was not a sigh of command. It was not anger, it was relief. Evan froze. He had never heard that sound from the Zalorian queen. Nobody had. He continued scrubbing softly, and as he did, he watched the marks change. What looked like burning cracks began to close, the heat fading from them. The blue glow under her skin calmed. Even the steam around her shifted more slowly, as if responding to her body. What is happening? Evan whispered without thinking. The queen didn't answer at first. The silence stretched long, thick, and uneasy. Only the water moved, making soft ripples around them. Then she finally spoke. You feel it too, don't you? Evan's heart skipped. Feel what, my queen? She turned her head just enough for him to see her jawline, her glowing eye hidden behind a curtain of silver hair. My body accepting your touch. Evan didn't know how to respond to that. Nobody in the galaxy could touch the queen. Even her own people used special gloves and shields, because her skin emitted intense royal heat that could melt steel if she grew angry. But Evan felt nothing unbearable. Only warmth. How is that possible? He whispered. The queen's voice lowered. It is not supposed to be. A deep, quiet tension filled the chamber. Evan felt the weight of her words in his chest. Not supposed to be. Meaning something was wrong. Something was happening to her, something no one else could fix. He scrubbed it again, moving slowly down her back. The marks responded instantly, shrinking and fading like a wound finally getting air after years underground. The queen's shoulders relaxed, something no one in palace history had ever seen, but the peace did not last long. Suddenly, the chamber door slammed open. Evan jerked and dropped the sponge. A group of royal healers rushed inside, all wearing metallic heat shield suits. Their faces were tight with fear. The lead healer bowed deeply. Your Majesty, forgive us. We detected a spike in your thermal signature. We thought you were in danger. The queen did not turn around. Leave. But Your Majesty, I said leave. Her voice cracked like thunder. The healers staggered back, bowing so quickly their helmets nearly hit the floor. But as they turned to exit, one healer hesitated. His eyes flicked toward Evan, standing in the water behind the queen. A human. Touching her. Still alive. Impossible. The healer tried to hide his shock. But the queen noticed. She slowly turned her head, her golden eyes glowing slightly brighter. Say nothing, she commanded. The healer shook, terrified. Why, yes, my queen. The group ran out, sealing the door behind them. Evan swallowed. My queen. Why did they react like that? The queen lifted her chin. Because I am not well. Evan blinked. Not well? She finally turned her upper body slightly, just enough for him to see her face in profile. She was beautiful. Yes, but he also saw something he never expected. She was pale, and her breath trembled. My body is breaking, she said quietly. The royal heat inside me is unstable. These cracks you see, they are not marks. They are warnings. Evan stared at her back. Warnings of what? That I am dying. Evan felt the world tilt. Dying? The most powerful alien woman in the galaxy. The ruler who could end entire armies. She looked at him with a calm expression that did not match the fear in her eyes, and for reasons I do not understand. She continued, Your touch stabilizes me. Evan's throat tightened. Him? A simple human cleaner? Come back tomorrow, the queen ordered softly. And do not tell anyone. Not even the heir. Evan nodded slowly, but as he stepped out of the bath, he realized something terrifying. He had just become the only person in the galaxy keeping the queen alive. Evan barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the glowing cracks on the queen's back fading under his touch. He remembered the way her voice softened, the slight tremble in her breath. The moment she said the words he never thought he would hear, I am dying. The Queen Serathis, ruler of the Zalorian Empire, feared across 12 star systems, was dying. And he, a simple human cleaner, was the only one who could ease her pain. The thought terrified him. Why him? Why a human? Why did her deadly heat not kill him like it killed every other species? Morning came too fast. Evan stood outside the royal bath chamber again, heart racing like a drum. The same 2 palace guards stood in front of the door. They didn't speak, but their glowing armor shifted as they scanned him. Evan wondered if they knew what he was really doing inside. The doors opened. Warm steam rushed out, and Evan stepped in. The queen stood near the bath, her long silver hair falling around her like shining threads. But she looked different today, tired, as if the night had drained her. Her golden eyes studied him silently. You returned, she said, her voice quieter than usual. Evan bowed. You ordered me, my queen. A faint smile touched the corner of her lips, so small he almost thought he imagined it. Good, begin. Evan approached her slowly. This time, he didn't shake as much. He dipped the sponge into the warm silver water, then touched it gently to her back. The reaction was immediate. The glowing cracks pulsed, then dimmed again. The heat flowing from her skin dropped from burning to warm. The queen's shoulders relaxed, and her breath grew steadier. She closed her eyes as if absorbing every second of relief he gave her. It works again, she whispered. Evan swallowed. My queen, what is this illness? For a moment, she didn't answer. The chamber felt colder, heavier. Then she spoke with a voice that carried centuries of pain. It is called royal corrosion. A disease so rare that only one royal every few thousand years suffered from it. A disease so violent that it tore the royal heat inside them apart. Her body was overheating, burning itself slowly from the inside. Every day, the cracks grew wider. Every night, the pain grew worse. The healers cannot touch me, she said. They burn. The thermal suits only protect for minutes, and they cannot reach the deeper layers of the heat. Evan remembered her trembling breath yesterday. He remembered how her skin calmed under his hand, like a wildfire being smothered by a cool wind. But your touch, she said softly, it stabilizes the fire inside me. It does what no Zalorian healer can. Evan stared. But why me? I'm nothing special. Her eyes opened, slowly glowing golden fire meeting human brown. You are the first living being in the galaxy whose skin does not burn in contact with mine, she said. That alone makes you rare. A heavy silence filled the room. But there is more, she added. turning slightly toward him. Your presence lowers the heat inside my body. Your touch cools the cracks. Your scent calms the energy waves. Evan blinked. My scent? It is strange, she admitted. Unexplainable, impossible, yet it works. Evan didn't know what to say. He was just a cleaner, a nobody. But somehow he was the one keeping her alive minute by minute. Touch by touch. As he scrubbed gently across another long crack, the queen spoke again. Her voice almost a whisper. My father died from this illness. So did my grandmother. They burned from the inside until only ashes remained. Evan felt a sharp pain in his chest. I'm sorry, my queen. For years, she continued, I felt the same fire eating me. I hid it. I fought it. I ruled while it consumed me. But yesterday, she paused. Yesterday, for the first time, the pain weakened. Evan's chest tightened. He never wanted to see her in pain again. You saved my life, human, she said quietly. And you may have to save it every day. Before Evan could speak, the chamber door burst open again, this time without warning. A young royal guard stormed in, panting. My queen! There is a crisis in the throne hall. The nobles. He stopped when he saw Evan standing behind the queen, sponge in hand, touching her bare skin. His eyes widened. His face changed from shock to fury. You! The guard shouted at Evan, step away from the queen. The queen didn't turn. Leave, she ordered. But my queen, this human, leave. Her voice grew colder, sharper than a blade. The guard swallowed hard, bowed, and ran out, slamming the door behind him. Evan felt his heart pounding. My queen. If people see me like this, they will see nothing, she said. You are mine to command now. Evan froze. Hers? To command? Her golden eyes glowed brighter, more intense. You will return every day, she said quietly. Until either the fire inside me dies, or I do. Evan returned to the palace the next morning with a heavy chest and a mind full of fear. He knew the truth now. The queen was dying, and only he could calm the burning fire inside her. But he also knew something else. If the nobles discovered this, they would not let a human stand this close to their queen. They would kill him without hesitation. Still, he walked through the tall marble corridors, passing alien guards who looked at him with cold suspicion. Every step echoed like a warning. The palace felt different today, more tense, more awake, as if the walls themselves knew something dangerous was happening. When he reached the royal bath chamber, the guards opened the door without a word. Their eyes stayed fixed on him, sharp and unreadable. Evan stepped inside. The queen was already in the water. The steam wrapped around her like a protective veil. But Evan noticed the cracks on her skin, glowing brighter than yesterday. She looked weaker, her shoulders lower, her eyes dimmer. Even her royal aura, usually strong enough to shake the air, felt unstable. You are late, she said softly. Evan bowed. Forgive me, my queen. I came as fast as I could. She turned her head slightly. Begin. Evan entered the water and approached her back. As soon as his hand touched her skin, he felt the heat much stronger than before. Her body trembled under his touch, though she tried to hide it. The glowing cracks dimmed slowly, then more quickly as he continued. You are worse today, Evan whispered. I did not sleep, she replied. The flames inside me. They grew during the night. Evan's heart tightened. He scrubbed gently, trying to cool every line of heat he saw. The queen closed her eyes, breathing deeply. Your touch, she said quietly, is the only relief I have felt in weeks. He didn't know how to respond. He was just a cleaner. But here he was, healing a queen. Then suddenly, bang! The doors slammed open. 3 high-ranking nobles rushed inside, their cloaks shimmering with power. Their faces twisted in shock when they saw Evan standing behind the queen again. A noble hissed, Human! Step away from her at once." Evan froze. The queen didn't even turn. "No," the noble stiffened as if she had struck them. "My queen." "This is forbidden," the tallest noble said. "A human cannot touch royal skin. It is an insult to the empire." "Enough," the queen said sharply. "He will not be touched." One noble stepped forward, anger burning in his eyes. "We demand an explanation." She turned her head, her golden eyes glowing brighter than the steam. "You demand nothing." Silence fell instantly. The nobles swallowed hard, stepping back. But one of them glanced at Evan with pure hatred. "This human," he said carefully, "is dangerous. We must remove him." The queen's voice turned deadly calm. "If any of you lay a finger on him, your heads will decorate my gate." The nobles bowed immediately, trembling. "Why, yes, my queen." The moment they left, Evan felt his legs shaking. "My queen, why did you defend me like that?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she lifted her hand and touched the water, watching the ripples form slow circles. "Because," she said at last, "you are more important than they will ever understand." Evan blinked. "Important? Me?" She turned, finally showing him her face fully. Her expression was strong, but underneath it he saw something new, something like fear. "If you die," she said, "I die with you." Evan felt the weight of her words hit him like a tidal wave. "You are the first being whose body does not burn from my royal heat," she explained. "Your touch slows the cracks. Your presence softens the fire. You are my balance." She continued, voice low and raw. "I cannot rule if my body collapses. I cannot protect my people if the fire consumes me. And now," she paused, "now my life depends on you." Evan stared at her, stunned. "My queen." "I'm honored, but you are afraid." She finished for him. He nodded slowly. She stepped closer, the steam swirling around her like drifting silver fog. Even weakened, she looked powerful. And heartbreakingly human for a moment. "Fear is natural," she said. "But hear me, human." Her golden eyes locked onto his. "You are not here by accident. The galaxy chose you, and now I choose you." Evan opened his mouth to speak, but before he could, the alarm sounded. A deep, booming warning echoed through the palace walls. Guards shouted outside. The chamber lights flickered. Something heavy shook the ground. The queen's eyes widened, not with pain this time, but with anger. "They are attacking," she whispered. "Inside my palace." She clenched her fist, glowing heat rising around her. But her body trembled. She was too weak to fight. Evan realized the truth in one terrifying instant. The queen needed him now more than ever. The palace walls shook again, harder this time, sending ripples across the bathwater. Evan grabbed the edge of the pool to keep from falling. The queen stood tall, but he could see her body tremble, the glowing cracks on her skin flickering like unstable lightning. Her strength was fading fast. "What is happening?" Evan shouted over the sirens. The queen's jaw tightened. An intrusion. Someone breached the inner palace. Another explosion rumbled above them. Dust fell from the ceiling. The glowing patterns on the royal pillars dimmed. The guards outside the door shouted commands in the Zalorian language, their voices tense and frantic. The queen stepped out of the water, her long silver hair clinging to her back. Even weakened, she looked powerful, too powerful to be hunted inside her own home. Yet Evan saw her knees weaken for a moment before she caught herself. "You must leave, human," she ordered. "They are here for me. You cannot be seen beside me." Evan shook his head. "I won't leave you." The door blasted open. A wave of burning smoke rolled in, and through it stepped 3 assassins, wearing dark armor lined with glowing red veins. Their helmets were sharp, shaped like screaming beasts. Their weapons hummed with deadly energy. The palace guards fought to get inside. But something blocked them, a force field the assassins activated. Evan realized with horror that he and the Queen were trapped alone. The lead assassin pointed his weapon at the Queen. "Sarathis," he hissed. "Your rule ends today." The Queen straightened, but Evan saw pain stab through her body. The cracks on her skin flared bright, her breath trembling. The assassin's helmet shifted toward Evan, and the human traitor dies with her. Evan's heart slammed in his chest. This was it. He had no weapon, no armor, no way out. The assassin fired. A kauthi bolt of burning energy shot across the chamber. Evan's body moved on instinct. He stepped in front of the Queen. The bolt hit his shoulder, knocking him to the floor. His skin burned, but he stayed conscious. The Queen gasped, shock flashing in her golden eyes. "Human!" she shouted, reaching toward him, but another bolt hit the wall beside her, scorching the stone. The assassins advanced, weapons rising again. Evan forced himself up. "Stay behind me. You cannot protect me," she said, voice shaking with anger and fear. "But I can try," Evan answered. The assassins circled them. Their weapons hummed louder, charging for a fatal shot. Evan's heart pounded, but something inside him seemed strange. Stubborn courage refused to let him run. He grabbed the fallen metal tray from beside the bath. It wasn't a weapon, just polished gold, smooth and round. But it was something. The assassins lunged. Evan swung the tray at the nearest one. The tray hit the assassin's helmet with a loud crack, knocking him sideways for a moment. Not much damage, but enough to delay his strike. But another assassin grabbed Evan by the neck and slammed him into the wall. Evan's breath burst out of him. His vision blurred. The assassin raised his blade. "Unworthy human," the killer hissed. Before the blade could drop, a blast of heat erupted behind them. The Queen had raised her hand. A pulse of white-hot royal fire exploded from her palm, slamming the assassin into the far wall. His armor melted like wax. The Queen staggered from the effort, nearly falling. Her fire was killing her. "Stop!" Evan shouted. "You're hurting yourself." "I must protect you," she said, her voice shaking violently. "If they kill you, the fire inside me will consume me." Another assassin rushed at her. Evan grabbed his leg from the floor, tripping him. The assassin crashed down, snarling. Evan crawled onto his back, holding the tray like a shield as the assassin tried to stab him. The Queen lifted her hand again, but her body spasmed. She could barely stand. The assassin kicked Evan away and rose, aiming for the Queen's heart. Evan's vision blurred with pain, but he pushed up again, running with all his strength. He jumped between the assassin and the Queen, just as the blade came down. The blade cut across Evan's arm, but he used his weight to tackle the assassin into the water. Silver liquid splashed everywhere. The assassin thrashed, but Evan held him under. The metal tray clamped over the helmet to block air. The assassin struggled violently, clawing at Evan, but soon went still. Evan collapsed onto the floor, chest heaving. The Queen's eyes widened, not in anger, not in cold royal judgment, but in shock. "You protected me," she whispered. Evan nodded weakly. "Of course I did." The doors finally burst open as palace guards rushed in, dragging out the last unconscious assassin. The Queen staggered forward and caught Evan before he fell again. Her touch was warm, not burning, not painful. Warm, gentle, grateful, she whispered close to his ear. "No one has ever shielded me with their own body." A pause. "You are not just my healer, human. You are something more." The palace felt different after the attack, quieter, colder, as if the marble walls themselves were holding their breath. The alarms finally stopped ringing, but the fear stayed in the air. Outside, squads of armored guards ran through the halls, searching every corner for more assassins. The entire empire seemed to tremble. Evan walked beside the Queen as she moved through a hidden corridor behind the bath chamber. Her steps were slow, her breath uneven. He kept close in case she collapsed again. He could see the glowing cracks along her arms returning, brighter than before. "You're hurt," Evan whispered. "I am always hurt," she replied. "But now the fire grows faster." Evan clenched his fists. He wished he could do more. His touch helped her, yes, but it wasn't enough, not if the attacks continued. Not if the war outside the palace grew. Because it was war. "You said someone attacked the palace," Evan said quietly. "Why? Who wants to kill you?" The queen didn't speak for a long moment. Her golden eyes stared straight ahead, sharp as a blade. "There are those," she said finally, "who believe the throne should burn with me." Evan stopped walking. "Burn with you, you mean? They want the empire to fall?" "They want a new ruler," she said. "A colder one. A crueler one. Someone who will destroy humanity, not tolerate it." Evan's stomach twisted. "So that's why they attacked?" The queen nodded. "My weakness gives them hope. They reached a private chamber, a room forbidden even to royal advisors. Bright crystal panels lined the walls, glowing with shifting patterns. A throne-like seat stood in the center, surrounded by soft light. Evan had never seen this place before. "This is my sanctum core," she said. "Only I enter here. Or someone I trust." Trust. That word hit Evan like a stone. "You trust me?" he asked quietly. The queen turned toward him. Her face was pale. Her breath was uneven. But her eyes held no doubt. "Yes," she said simply. "I trust you with my life." Evan felt his heart jump. He didn't know how to respond. She was a queen, a ruler of worlds. Yet she spoke to him like he was more than a servant. "Sit with me," she said, lowering herself onto the glowing throne. Evan stepped closer, unsure. "What do you want me to?" She took his wrist gently and placed his hand on her shoulder. Instantly, the cracks on her skin dimmed. The heat lowered. Her breath steadied. The light around the throne responded, softening as if the entire room recognized Evan's presence. "Your touch," she whispered. "It tames the fire faster in here." Evan exhaled slowly. "I'm glad I can help." "More than help," she corrected. "You are keeping me alive." She closed her eyes, letting the relief settle through her body. Evan continued working across her back and arms. Her skin glowed, but softly now, almost peacefully. After a long moment, she spoke again. "Evan, tell me, are you afraid of me?" Evan paused. He looked at her face, strong, fierce, beautiful, and tired. A woman carrying a fire no one else could touch. "No," he said softly. "I was afraid of dying. But not of you." She opened her eyes slowly. This time, the fire in her gaze wasn't anger. It was something warmer, something deeper. "You are different from your kind," she whispered. "Most humans tremble in my presence. Even my own people fear to step near me. But you stand beside me." Evan smiled faintly. "Maybe because I don't see a monster. I see someone fighting to survive." Her lips parted slightly, as if his words had shocked her more than the assassination attempt. Before she could speak, the crystal panels around them flickered red. A voice echoed through the room. "Outer gates breached. Enemy ships landing. Prepare for total defense." The queen stood instantly, but the moment she did, her knees buckled. Evan caught her just in time. Her body was burning again, too fast, too strong. The cracks glowed like molten metal across her skin. She groaned softly, biting back a cry. "Your Majesty." She grabbed his hand, pressing it against her arm. The cracks dimmed slightly. "It is too soon," she whispered. "I cannot control it. The fire. It grows with my fear." Evan tightened his grip. "Then let me help. I'm here. I'm not leaving." Her breath shuddered. If I fall now, the Empire falls with me. Evan stepped in front of her, steadying her body against his. Then you're not falling, he said firmly. Not while I'm here. The Queen looked up at him, really looked, and something changed in her eyes. Respect, trust, and something deeper. Something she didn't dare name. Evan. She whispered, I need you. He nodded. Then I'm yours. The room fell silent except for the alarms outside. A war awaited inside. A bond stronger than fire began to form, something no one in the galaxy could have predicted. The alarms inside the sanctum core grew louder, echoing against the crystal walls like heartbeats in panic. The Queen's breath shook as she leaned on Evan, her body glowing with unstable heat. Outside, the palace shook again, a violent quake caused by landing enemy ships. They're already inside the city. Evan whispered. Yes, the Queen said weakly. And they are coming for me. Her legs trembled. Evan held her tighter. He could feel the fire under her skin growing wild, spreading like an angry storm. She was trying to stay strong, trying to stay the Queen, but her illness was winning. Evan, she whispered. Take me to the core pillar. He didn't know what that was, but he nodded and helped her toward the center of the room. A tall glowing column stood there, pulsing with soft gold light. The core pillar controls the palace shields, she explained, her voice thin. But it can heal me. Or kill me. Evan froze. Kill you? If I enter it without stability, the fire inside me will explode. But if I enter while your touch calms the flames. She placed her hand on the pillar. It may cleanse the disease. Evan's heart pounded. Then let's do it. A distant explosion shook the palace again, closer now. Screams echoed faintly through the halls. The Queen's face tightened with worry, not for herself, but for her people. I cannot let them see me fall, she whispered. If I die broken, the Empire dies with me. Evan stepped in front of her. Then you'll live. I'll make sure you do. She looked at him. With an emotion he had never seen from her, a vulnerability, hidden behind centuries of strength. Stand. With me, she said. They stepped into the circle of light together. As soon as the Queen touched the pillar, energy shot through her body. Her skin glowed fiercely, every crack blazing like molten fire. She almost collapsed, but Evan wrapped his arms around her from behind, pressing his hands firmly against her skin. The pillar responded instantly. The cracked glow dimmed. Her breathing eased. The violent fire inside her softened. She leaned back against him, her forehead resting near his shoulder. You steady me, she whispered. I'm right here, Evan said. I'm not letting go. The pillar's golden light rose higher, surrounding them both. The ground trembled again, but this time from something deeper, the pillar beginning the healing process. The Queen gasped sharply. Her body jerked as energy surged into her bloodstream. The cracks on her skin widened for a moment, then slowly began to close, tiny lines knitting together like healing wounds. It's working, Evan said softly. Yes, she breathed. But it needs one more push. What push? She turned her head slightly, meeting his eyes with a fierce, determined fire. You must hold me tighter. Your cool energy. Your steadiness. I need all of it. Without hesitation, Evan wrapped his arms fully around her, pulling her against his chest. The pillar blazed with brilliant golden light. The room shook violently. For a moment, Evan was blind in the brightness. And then, something changed. The Queen's body softened, her glowing cracks fading into smooth blue skin. Her breath steadied. The fire inside her calmed to a gentle warmth. She wasn't trembling anymore. She wasn't burning. She was healing. Finally. Healing. The light slowly faded. The Queen took a slow, deep breath, the first calm breath she had taken in years. Evan loosened his embrace slightly, afraid she might collapse. But instead, she stood tall, strong, alive, whole. She turned to face him completely, her golden eyes bright, not with pain now, but with gratitude. "You saved me," she whispered. Evan smiled faintly. "I just followed your orders." "No," she said softly. "You gave me something no one else could. You gave me life." Before Evan could respond, the palace doors burst open behind them. Dozens of royal guards, nobles, generals, and servants rushed into the sanctum core, stopping dead when they saw the scene. The queen stood glowing beside a human holding her steady, a human touching a living goddess. And surviving. Whispers rippled like waves. Impossible. He healed her. The queen lives. A human? The queen stepped forward, her voice rising with renewed power. "Hear me." The room fell silent instantly. "This human," she said, pointing to Evan, "saved your queen. He saved your empire. From today forward, humanity stands under my personal protection." Gasps filled the chamber. No alien ruler had ever said such words. Some nobles looked furious, others terrified, many simply stunned. The queen turned back toward Evan, her expression softened. "You are not my servant anymore," she said quietly. "You are my chosen." Evan's heart pounded. Chosen? For what? She held his gaze, her golden eyes blazing with a power no illness could ever touch again. "For everything that comes next," she whispered. "For a future that neither of our species ever imagined." Outside, enemy ships roared in the sky. Inside, a bond strong enough to change the galaxy had just been born, and now, the galaxy would never be the same again.